We got Jessica Rose Clark back here on the program. Is going to be taking on Sarah Alpar coming up here at UFC Fight Night on September 19th. Jessica, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a bit. Lots changed since the last time you and I talked. But first and foremost, I love the fact that you're living the RV life. How has that been, and how long have you been doing this? Because I'm a big outdoors person and camp person, so I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I've been. I think it's been a year. So I moved to California, I want to say September last year. So I've been in the RV since I moved to California. I love it. Like, honestly, I don't know that it'd take something pretty special. Sorry, Blue keeps playing underneath the table, and then it's messing up the tripod. It's going to take something pretty special for me to move back into a house again.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm sure you're so used to it, and just the simplicity of it, right? You don't have to like mow a lawn or like do clean up the house. Like it's a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah, but also it gets really messy really quick is the other thing, because it's like how your bedroom, if you leave a couple of things out, your bedroom can get real messy real quick. That's what it's like. Like, I have my kitchen and my toilet in my bedroom, and so it gets especially with the dogs, because they have a whole box of toys. So if they leave even 2 toys out, it looks like a bomb's hit the place.
Right. Yeah. Well, you do what you can, as they sort of say. And you talked there about how it's been, sort of an anniversary, 1-year anniversary for you living in the RV. I believe it's now 3 years you've been completely sober. I saw you post that on Twitter. I remember when we talked, you had just talked about sort of, making some changes. What does it mean to celebrate that? Because I know it was something that was really, helping you push forward.
Yeah. So I'm at like 2 years and a bit now.
Yeah. We'll say 3. We'll say 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been really cool. Like, the 2-year anniversary came up really quickly. Like, it just feels like it's my life now, like I still struggle occasionally. Like, especially at the beginning of quarantine, there were definitely a few days where I thought about drinking again, but honestly, like, those days are so few and far between that it just feels like I've always been sober. My life is so much better without alcohol, without marijuana. Not that I was ever really into marijuana anyway, but like, without substances, my life is definitely a lot better.
And I'm sure with training too, you've seen a big difference, because we've seen the improvements. I know you posted that photo. I think it was, I want to say it was like last week or something, of sort of like the before and after of how you've sort of transformed your body. I'm sure that's played a big role in it as well too.
Oh, 100%. Like, I think hitting my early 30s and being sober has been the best thing for my body. Like, I very rarely get injured now, whereas I used to feel like I got injured weekly, like I would never recover well. I felt old. I'd wake up hungover all the time. And now, like, I wake up and I'm excited and I'm ready every day. It's great. It's an amazing feeling.
Good to hear. No, I think that's awesome. And I'm sure that's inspiring. Have you had people reach out about that, maybe saying like, how did you get through it or anything? Because you are, you have a platform, you're a fighter. I'm sure you have a lot of people that, follow along with your journey.
Yeah, I get asked about the sobriety thing a lot. I also get made fun of about it a lot, which is weird. But more than anything, like, people want to tell me their stories and like ask me kind of how I got through when it was difficult and stuff like that. So I very rarely reply to private messages online, but those are the ones that I'll always respond to, because if I can help someone else get through a hard time, then absolutely, like, it's no time out of my day to do that.
Let's talk about your opponent here, Sarah Alpar. What do you know about her? I mean, she won on Contender Series, obviously, but how do you feel like you match up against her here?
I think it's a good fight. I think stylistically, it's a really good fight. Probably for both of us, to be honest. I feel like her style could create a really good opportunity for me to show the things that I've been working on really hard over the last year. And I feel like my style could give her the opportunity to do what she loves to do best, which is wrestling. So I think stylistically, like, it's a pretty even fight, like, we have different strengths, but we're also very good at our different strengths, and our different strengths complement each other. So I'm excited for it. It's the first southpaw I've ever fought, so I'm really excited for that one. I like the switch stance myself, so I like working so much switch stance stuff. I didn't really feel like maybe like there was a lot of adjustments that I needed to make, because I'm like, oh, whatever, I fight, like I spar southpaw all the time. But actually training for a southpaw specific opponent has been really interesting. Like, I felt like I had the opportunity to learn a whole bunch, like a whole new skill set. It's been amazing. Like, even without the fact that I'm about to fight, like just to be able to build this skill set as well has been has just been really great for me. Like that's my favorite thing about this sport. It's not even really the fighting. It's just being able to constantly learn new things and have different goals, you know?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's cool that didn't even think of that, the fact that she's going to be a different opponent for you in that sense. Now, being in California, I know there's a lot of restrictions with all the COVID stuff. How have you navigated through training camp with all that?
A lot of garage sessions.
Right.
A lot of garage sessions. Like, obviously not my garage because I live in an RV. But I was really lucky. I think I'm very fortunate to be here for quarantine, particularly because so many of my main training partners live so close to where I am. So that was really handy. And yeah, one of my main guys, he has a little garage set up, like mats and stuff like that. So we've done a ton of work there. So yeah, that's been it. But I feel good. Honestly, like I try to only train with 2 people through camp anyway, just to keep safe, because I've been so injury prone and stuff like that I like to just keep my training camps really tight. So this has actually been a really nice way to do it.
And I'm sure the weight cut's way easier now with fighting at bantamweight, and you know, you can see it just with the people following you on Instagram. I mean, you're getting stronger and you know, obviously being able to lift a lot too. Like, how has that been, you know, trying to cut weight now as opposed to when you fought at 25?
Oh, amazing. Like the whole time, how long was I at 125 for? Like a year and a half? That whole time I was so fucking miserable. Like I was so miserable just because I had to constantly watch what I ate. Like every day was so consumed by trying to see a certain number on the scales that I was just so unhappy, you know. I couldn't ever go out and enjoy food. Like I couldn't go do the things that my friends were doing because I would sit there and watch all them eat shit that I love to eat and I wouldn't be able to have any of it. It was just miserable. Like I love food, you know. So being back at bantamweight, like I'm too big for flyweight, but I'm still kind of undersized for bantamweight, which has been a beautiful thing because I really have been able to eat whatever I want, which is amazing. Like yesterday I ate 4 cupcakes and 3 burgers, and today I woke up super light. So not super light, but close enough to weight that I could fight this weekend.
Yeah, it's like not concerning, right? Like you can have a couple things here and there, and it's not a thing, you know? Like it's one less thing to worry about. Oh my God,
I'm having a couple of things every day. Like my coach laughs at me all the time because I'm always eating cake and shit in the gym because I'm like, I'm trying to put on weight. Like that's it. Ever since the Russia fight, like that's been our mission, is to try to put on muscle mass, and I've put on a few pounds. I'm still not at where I wanted to be, but you know, everything takes time, right? It takes time to lose it. It takes time to put it back on as well.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Kieran, my head coach, and then Adam Piccolotti, who's my jiu-jitsu coach.
Love Adam. Big.
Me too. And then Amber Leibrock. Yeah. And then Amber Leibrock from CSA as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Victor
great.
Bellator fighter.
Excellent. Okay. And how do you think the fight plays out on the 19th? I mean, I think this on paper looks like a really entertaining fight just with both of your styles. Is that kind of how you envision it, that we could potentially see like a 3-round war or something like that?
Honestly, I always expect it to be 3 rounds. Like that's it. My track record is decisions, wins or losses. So I just always expect it to go the distance, you know, like if a finish comes on either end. I'm just excited, you know, like last year, the year before, I was so obsessed and consumed with like not wanting to lose that it was mentally just shutting me down too much. So then since my last fight, like all I've been trying to work on is just loving fighting again, because I haven't loved it for a long time, you know, like being in Moscow, I fucking hated being there. Like I didn't enjoy that fight. When I was walking out for that fight, like I didn't want to be there, you know. It was the first fight that I've walked into and generally been like, fuck, I don't want to do this. Like I'm tired of it, you know. So it's just been really nice. Like I work with a therapist and a mind coach now, and just really focusing on why I started fighting in the first place. Like it wasn't to win and win and win, and it wasn't to, you know, be someone. It was just to let all my energy out and learn new things and be able to prove that the things that I'm learning and the hard work that I'm doing actually works in a real life situation, you know, as real life as a fucking cage fight with a rule set can be. But, yeah, I don't know. I just want, you know, I felt like every fight that I've had in the UFC so far, except for my debut, has been really fucking boring. So that's kind of my mission, is I don't want to have, win or loss, I don't fucking care. I just don't want to have another boring fight. Like, I haven't even been able to watch half of them because I'm like, oh, these fucking suck. Like, I feel bad for the people who pay to go see them in person. So that's kind of my mission. No one gets to see it in person. Now everyone's got to watch it on TV. So fuck that. I'm just going to go do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah, I'm sure you thought about that too, not having the crowd. Do you think that's going to be an advantage? Because maybe, like you were saying before, really fixated on the win. I don't know if the crowd maybe influence that, if they're not happy. Like, have you thought about that going into the cage, not even having to worry about the crowd?
Honestly, the only time I really notice the crowd is when I'm walking out. So this will be different-ish, but remembering, like, I grew up through the regional scene in Australia where there were like 100 people at a lot of my fights anyway, you know, or like 95% empty stadiums. So when I fought in Japan, I fought in a conference room in a business establishment with like 70 people there, and the Japanese are notoriously quiet through fights. So it was like I could have been the only one there, like, you know, so yeah, I don't think it'll be any different. It'll just be nice because now I have a reason for my parents not to come out, so I don't have to worry about what they're doing, getting lost in foreign cities in fight week like I usually am. So I'm happy about that.
I wanted to get to your Twitter account because we were talking off air about how much I enjoy it. And I can relate to a certain degree because, like I said, I get a little bit of hate too every now and then. But at what point did you start like turning this into something where it was kind of like a joke? Because like I feel like it was only maybe recently where I really saw you like being sarcastic back to these idiot fans that say things. And I love the Pelican line, by the way. Where did that come from?
I have no idea where that even came from. I feel like someone said that to me and I was like, fuck, I like that. And then I just started running with it. And now I'm glad I did because everyone seems to like it. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I very rarely take things personally anyway. Like, it takes a lot. You have to say something that I'm already feeling insecure about for me to really get upset about anything. Like, it takes a lot to upset me. Especially if I don't know you. Like, there's fucking, I want to say, like, almost nothing someone that I don't know can say to me that'll genuinely upset me. So, I like my nature is just to make a joke out of everything anyway. Like, I made a joke at someone at the gym the other day and got yelled at for it. Like, that's always my sense of humor, is I like to make jokes about shit. And I don't know. They just make it too easy. Like, people say so much fucking stupid shit online, and I feel like they think that because they're not in front of you, then they can just say whatever they want. But that's also why I like to screenshot, why I like to repost, why I like to have my say, because I'm like, no one should be allowed to say some of the horrible things that people say and just like have no consequences of it. And even though realistically, like, a bunch of people telling you you're a dickhead on Twitter shouldn't be enough to ruin your day, but people put so much stock into social media that I know that I guess it does create some form of accountability for being a shitty person. There's a lot of shitty people out there.
I think a lot of it, though, honestly, like is from what I've gathered, this is just my assessment, especially when it comes to fighters, because like even I'll interview fighters and I'll see someone write something stupid about it. There's a lot of insecure people out there about the fact that they're not fighting. And I think their way to compensate for that, like I always see people telling you how to like do technique. It's like if you're a world-class coach and you actually cared about your well-being, would they not DM you and say, hey, contact me? You know, I think I could, you know, teach you some, like here's some tips or something if they really cared. But no, they're doing it in public because it's their way of like compensating for the fact that they don't fight. That's my theory.
Like, hey, everybody, look how good I am.
Like, do you think like a world class? Do you think like Mike Winklejohn is like going on social media and like telling fighters what to do? Of course not. He doesn't need to.
No.
It's crazy.
No, I like it. I like it though because it's given me like every now and then they'll just say something so ridiculous that it gives me an opportunity to make another video, and I really like making stupid videos.
Oh yeah, it's like good. You're getting the brand out there.
Yeah, the Twitter coaches, they give me a lot of good content. So keep at it. Keep coaching me.
What's RV life like? I gotta know. Like, do you have neighbors, or because you're like obviously like a mainstay there? But like, what's it like being in an RV park all the time? I gotta know.
It's cool. There's a lot of fucking weirdos here. Like, especially lately, there's been like a weird amount of weird people. But I have made some really good friends here, which I'm very grateful. Like, I've met one or two people here that are also permanent residents that I believe will be lifelong friends. So that's invaluable for me, you know, but it's always entertaining. That's one thing. There's so many people coming and going, and everyone's super weird in general. So it's always entertaining. There's always something going on. It's such a ridiculous place to live. Like sometimes I just want to be left alone and hide myself in the camper, and then I'll go outside and there'll just be something insane happening out on the road. Like some guy at 11 o'clock at night the other night set up it looked like he was going to do like a satanic ritual. It was so bizarre. He went out to one of the empty stalls and set up like a ring of LED lights, and then in the middle had like an altar with a candle on it. And it was weird, but it was like 11 o'clock at night. On like a Tuesday. Like it was so fucking bizarre. And then it was gone in the morning. So I don't know what the point of it was, but we were all kind of like waiting for the chicken sacrifices and whatever the fuck he was trying to do. Like, yeah, it's fun though. It's exciting. It's interesting.
This is always a fun interview too, Jess. Really appreciate the time. Looking forward to this fight. It's coming up here September 19th at his UFC Fight Night. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media you want to plug? The floor is yours.
No, everyone knows I appreciate them. Just follow me. I think I'm funny. Follow me. I'm the funniest person you know.